Today, we're going to throw out the lifeline to our friend VJ. Say hi, VJ.
Hi, Joe and OG. Hope you had great holidays. My question is how to adjust the 4% rule after considering taxes. I live in a high cost of living area in New Jersey. If I assume that I need $100,000 per year in expenses, I'll need 2.5 million nest egg with the 4% rule without accounting for taxes. But if I'm taking that much distribution from my traditional 401k or IRA, I'll have to pay both the income tax and capital gains tax at the federal and state level. What's a reasonable number to assume for taxes? I know that the exact numbers will depend on so many personal factors, and it's not fair to expect that from two guys in the basement who know nothing about me, but I need to pick some number to set my end goal. Because if I assume 25% total tax for income and capital gains, then that 2.5 million goal will now become about 3.35 million, which is significant change, and I'll need to plan accordingly. Thank you for not teaching anything, VJ.
Thanks for the question, VJ. And I love the fact that VJ is handling our disclaimer for us. But hey, I know two guys in the basement don't know anything about me, but taxes, OG. Let's talk about tax treatment on that money, because he's got a point there. If you're saving X amount of money and it's all in pre-tax cash, some of that has to go to the government.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing that we want to point out here is that at the end of the day, you don't know whether or not your tax plan that you're working on today is going to pay off in 25 years from now until 25 years from now. So we don't know what the tax rates are going to be. We don't know. We can guess. We can kind of look at the tea leaves and have an opinion about it, but we don't know what's really going to happen 20 or 30 years from now. So it makes good sense to have a little bit of kind of everything, a little bit of pre-tax money, a little bit of after-tax money like a Roth, and a little bit of brokerage account money, non-tax deferred money of any kind that gives you the flexibility. The good news is that when you take money out of your workplace plan, you don't pay taxes on the gains and on the income. You only pay income taxes. So you'll pay tax on the entire distribution amount, but you won't pay a capital gains tax. That's just kind of baked in there. Frankly, you'd rather pay capital gains. It's generally less than ordinary income.
But the good news is it's not both. You're only going to pay.
But you will have some state taxes, and different states tax retirement planning distributions differently. Some states exclude it altogether if it's from an IRA. Some states, tax it fully. Some states have a larger credit, so that'll be different everywhere. But you do have to count that in your plan as you're thinking about, if you're just using the 4% rule and saying, well, I need 100,000. Well, really, you need 120 if you're going to take money out from a tax standpoint. So then yes, you would need more money than that. But I think you're also not counting Social Security perhaps, or earned income over, early parts of retirement or something like that. So it's best to have money in all the different buckets, because let's say that the tax bracket is at 70,000 and you need 100. Well, maybe you take 70,000 out of your pre-tax account and 30,000 out of something else, and then that last, that last 30,000 is taxed more favorably. So flexibility is really the most important.
VJ, if you want another resource here, we had Ed Slott on at the end of the year, to noted tax expert Ed. And what I found funny, OG, was he was talking about the pre-tax stuff VJ mentions, and said that a pre-tax retirement plan really is a joint account.
Yeah,
it is you and your Uncle Sam. It's not you and a loved one. It is
Uncle Sugar.
You and your uncle, and every time that you make money, as your Peloton stock hopefully rebounds, what you find is that government's going to take part of that. So with a Roth, government's going to take none of it.
Right. Right now.
Right. the way things are now. But I kind of agree with David McKnight on that issue. And I know I've had conversations with lots of tax people on this, that the Roth IRA is so widely used, OG, for the government to change that rule, where, Roth IRAs, that money gets taxed somehow, would be a huge reason not to vote for somebody. Are politicians that brave?
That's going to be a third rail issue when it comes up.
No, I mean the way that they, I don't know. If I were doing it, the easiest way is just to get rid of it. Then you don't have to, then it's gone.
Yeah, grandfather it in and go, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I still stand by what we've talked about over the last couple of years of if you want to fix the retirement planning issue, you have to uncap the savings opportunities and make a cap for per person, regardless of where you're going to put the money. No caps on all these different things and all these different income restrictions and well, this plan you can put 12,000 in, and this plan you can put 6, and this plan you can put 20,000. Unless you're this age, then you can put this in. Unless you make this income, and then you can only do this. Just say everybody gets to put 30 grand away
I had a note from a
or
listener a couple of
50 or
weeks
whatever the
ago.
number is.
I did a note from a listener a couple of weeks ago, and I apologize, but because I don't have your name in front of me, but was talking about why wouldn't we? We got the HSA, we got all these different things. Why don't we just make one account?
Yep.
It's retirement and healthcare, and you dump money in it. Just one flipping account.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you've got a workplace plan that's awesome and you like, then put all your money in that. If your workplace plan is crappy and full of, high cost annuities, then you get to put your money elsewhere. Why should I be penalized because the plan that I have accessible to me, isn't advantageous, right? Or I can't be, we were talking about a couple weeks ago. It's like some people need to have that money taken out of their paycheck, right? Like if it comes out of their paycheck, they're going to put 20 grand away. They could put 100 grand away if it comes out of their paycheck. But if they got to take it out of their bank account, it's not going to happen.
Nothing's gonna happen.
So just say, okay, I can do, I can put whatever the number is, $40,000, $50,000. I mean, if you add it up, if I can do 20 in my 401k, my spouse can do 20 in hers, and we could do a 7,000 in HSA, and we could do 12,000 in IRAs between the two of us. I mean, that's 60 some odd $1,000, $70,000. That's a big number,
That's a big number.
So why don't we just say it's 70 grand or 50 or some number, and I get to put wherever the hell I want to put it. Pre-tax, post-tax, Roth, traditional, who gives a crap?
Thanks for the question, VJ. If you've got a question for us, head to stackingbenjamins.com/voicemail. That is, by the way, the 749th question we've answered on the show.